Hello and welcome. Today's project is all about the top 5 health anxiety triggers that I find to be most common, not just with myself from the past when I used to suffer from health anxiety, but from my clients, from the literature that I read about anxiety. These are very common triggers and they can be unconscious. You may not even know what's triggering your anxiety. So I hope this video helps you to recognize what's really going on in your day-to-day, because health anxiety sufferers, they get so detached from their own skin, from their own bodies. They don't even know who they are anymore, and then they think they're going crazy and all of these things. But I hope this video helps you to recognize, oh, there's these triggers going on day to day, and recognizing these triggers is important because you can begin to break the pattern that snowballs into anxiety. Now, all of these triggers have a couple things in common. The first thing is that, well, they're all symptoms of anxiety, right? The anxiety response produces a lot of symptoms, and then those symptoms can trigger your health anxiety, right? And so it snowballs from there. But then also it's the fear of losing control, because once a anxiety sufferer recognizes a symptom, right away they're afraid, oh my God, what if? What if I faint? What if I have a heart attack? And they're afraid of losing their grip over reality and themselves. And so that's why even the dizziness, the lightheadedness can really snowball your anxiety, because they're afraid they're going crazy. They're going to end up in a mental institution, right? So let's get into the top 5 health anxiety triggers. Number 5 is too many thoughts. There's too much going on. Their glass is overflowing with stuff. There's unresolved situations under the surface. And when I suffered from panic in my past, and I'll give you an example, there was one time at the art gallery where I had a severe panic attack, and then I was so caught up in my thoughts, and I remember at the time I had a lot of unresolved things going on in my life. My life got so chaotic at the time. There's too many things going on. I was starting a school program that I was worried about, and concerned about. I was ruminating over past guilt, shame. I was ruminating over traumatic moments from my past. Many things are bubbling under the surface, and we get caught up in our thoughts. And what happens is that cortical thinking snowballs into anxiety. We can think our way into panic. Right? So maybe there's a lot of stuff going on in your life that's getting beyond you. Maybe you're worried about COVID-19, and then you're having some fights with your spouse, with your partner. Maybe you're not getting along with your kids, or something's going on. Maybe you're starting a new job, and all of these things are happening at once, but you're not really dealing with it because you weren't taught the tools how to deal with it. And so everything's just too much to get a grip on. And so you go out with your spouse or your partner, like I did with Maggie at the art gallery, and all of a sudden, I'm just overwhelmed. The glass is full. And so any anxious thing that happens, you pour that water into the glass, it's just overflowing, right? It's continuing to overflow. So one little thing can just snowball anxiety, can just send you into catastrophic catastrophic what if thinking, right? Number 4 is someone talks about an illness, and then that triggers your health anxiety, right? So you're sitting around and you hear your partner or you hear a family member, they talk about someone getting a disease, or it could be the news, right? Something on the news talking about disease, and all of a sudden you perk up, and that's because you're filtering all that outside information, and you're only grabbing onto the information that is fitting to your poor beliefs. You might believe you're unhealthy, and there could be great reason for it, right? You might be a smoker, you might be eating junk foods and sitting around and watching TV, and you might be sitting on your butt all day, and there's a lot of good reasons under the surface to why you may be unhealthy, right? And so you look in the mirror, you see some unhealthy person. And so now what's going on is you hear something on the news about cancer, and then you're all like, oh my God, I have that. What if I have that, right? It's that sudden, it's that trigger, right? And that snowballs your thinking, the cortical thinking snowballs. And now you're caught up obsessing over those thoughts in your mind, and then that snowballs into severe anxiety, all right? And there's also those commercials about health, right? Those commercials come on, or it's the billboard, whatever it is. Like I always use the example of me in the coffee shop, where I'd be in the coffee shop, I'd overhear somebody talking about a disease, and I would be like, oh my God, I have that. What if, and it snowballs. Number 3 is body zaps, body jolts. Right? I always got these. So it would be a sharp pain in parts of my body that would come for like a split second, and then I'd be like, oh my God, what is that? And it's always the first thought that snowballs the anxiety. Whenever you get that pain, right, it's, oh no. It's always that, oh no, right? So that sharp pain would lead me to Googling your symptoms, or it would keep me going back to the doctor, because what happens is you go to the doctor, doctor checks you out, there's nothing there, but you still feel the pain. So what's going on is it's the anxiety system that is causing those sensations, because what happens is anxiety, when it's triggered, you get the adrenaline, you get the cortisol, it's flowing through your body, right? And your muscles tense up, everything is tense, and then you get the sharp pains from your anxiety response. But you don't view it as anxiety, you view it as, oh no, it's kidney disease. Oh no, the chest pain. Oh my God, it's a heart attack. And then you go down that road of anxiety. So it keeps you going back to the doctor, which is not good. It keeps you dependent on those things. And also, people shrink their world down because they're afraid of going out in public and experiencing those pains, and then being afraid of it being a serious illness, and then they come back home. And so the anxiety sufferer starts to shrink their walls down more and more, which I'll get into later. So the solution is you have to add more evidence to why you're healthy. Why are you healthy? Prove to yourself. Because right now, when you look in the mirror, you see somebody that's not healthy. So the more evidence you supply yourself with that you're healthy, and you have to figure that out, right? You have to figure out what you can do. Maybe you need to exercise more. Maybe you need to meditate. Maybe you need to stop watching TV and stop eating those Cheetos. Maybe you have to stop drinking that coffee, right? That fuels your anxiety. You have to add evidence. You have to start to work with yourself and figure that out so that you can look in the mirror and say, you know what, I am healthy because I don't drink caffeine anymore, and I don't drink those chips and I don't eat those chips and drink that Pepsi anymore, right? Now you're adding more evidence to why you're healthy, and so it's important to break those patterns, right? Or it's important to add those beliefs so that you can add that positive self-talk with yourself. It's also about breaking those patterns, right? Because what triggers your anxiety is that pain, but also you have to learn about anxiety and be like, oh, that pain is from anxiety because of this and this and this, right? Number 2 is not getting enough air, hyperventilating. This is really common, and you also get that oh no feeling from that first breath, right? You can't breathe in properly. You start to internalize and recognize, oh my God, I can't breathe. Oh no, right? Oh no. It's that oh no that triggers and snowballs. What if? What if? What if? And that cortical thinking activates that fear response. And it becomes so reflexive too. That's the thing. You don't even recognize the thoughts anymore because you've been doing it for a long time. And so what happens is that hyperventilation is because of there's too much oxygen, but you're releasing too much carbon dioxide very quickly, right? And so there's an imbalance of oxygen and carbon dioxide in your bloodstream. And then what happens is you start to feel dizzy, lightheaded, and then those what if thinking snowballs even more. Oh my God, what if I faint? And it goes back to the fear of losing control. The anxiety sufferer doesn't want to lose control. So solutions to this is maybe watch one of my podcasts or videos when you feel like this, so that you can start to attach, this is anxiety rather than it's a serious illness, right? Start to attach, oh, I'm going to watch Brad's video and he's talking about health anxiety and anxiety. Kind of calms me down, because I get a lot of people who say that they watch my videos when they feel like overwhelmed, and it calms them down because they're getting themselves knowledgeable about anxiety. But also a great way to handle hyperventilation is 4x4x4 breathing. Start to get your breathing regulated, right? By breathing in for 4 seconds, pausing for 4, and then exhaling for 4. And this starts to activate your parasympathetic nervous system instead, which is your rest and digest system. Really powerful. Number 1 is the rapid heartbeat. Very, very common, and it's the fear of that heart attack. It's the fear of something wrong with your heart, right? And I had a client once where he had a bad experience at the doctor's. He went to the doctor's to get a checkup. The doctor, his heart rate was elevated when they checked him. And then the doctor said something about, you better be careful, you might get a heart attack or something. And then he attached a lot of emotion to what the doctor said. Oh my God, what if I get a heart attack? And then from then on, severe anxiety for him. Because now he linked pain to the heart sensation. Every time he gets the heartbeat, he's like, oh my God, heart attack. That sends him into panic. So what can you do to break that link, to break that cycle? Because it becomes a cycle. The more you react emotionally, the more you're sent into panic. And so what you need to do is, whenever you feel that heart beating, what you have to do is say, you know what? It's anxiety. If it kills me, let it kill me. But it's also about getting bored of the heartbeat. Do things that make your heart beat out of your chest. Exercise. The more you become bored of it, the more you won't react to it. The reaction towards it actually lessens, and it lessens. So people who go through and react emotionally towards their heart, they shrink their worlds smaller and smaller, because when they go out there, they feel the heartbeat, they react, they're afraid of dying, and they come back home. And then the world is so small that they can't even go a block from their house, because then they're afraid, oh my God, my heart, I'm going to die. I'm not even close to my family. I'm going to lose control. I'm going to die right here on the sidewalk, right? So break the pattern. And it's about developing a new perspective over your heart beating. Right? You have to become bored of it, because the more you subject yourself to it and avoid, the more you're going to lessen your anxiety, and you're going to lessen your grip over it. And I'm going to leave you right there on today's video. Thank you for being here with me today, And remember, do not let anxiety define who you are. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Remember to hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be the first to know. Namaste.